afternoon, everybody. Welcome back in. I hope you're having a great day. If y'all can hear me in the chat, y'all know what to do. We don't ever know around here. It appears to be working okay. I haven't broke anything today. Not yet, anyway. I might before it's all over with. Hey, we're all happy. Well, hope you get to pop in at lunch. I don't know how things are going over there in that world because I have not been looking at that trial. Yeeks. The lady gives me the creeps. Welcome in. Hey, Phoenix, how are you? Tricia, welcome back. And Nicole, welcome in. Rachel, thanks for being here. Butterfly, be here. She'll be along shortly. I think Forrest has got some things he's doing today. Um, Welcome in, everybody. We're just kind of take our time getting started. Thank you, Carrie. Hey, how are you? Of course, after our live yesterday, per usual, sources appear to like to talk at the end of the day. I guess they're in a mood and it all comes flying out. Anyway, whatever. I'm a little over the sources at this point. Could the real sources please stand up? In fact, they might want to get together at the end of the day and say, hey, when we start parsing out this information bit by bit by bit, let's get consistent with it. It's like, let's rattle the cages and dip out. Peace out. I rattled the cage and I left. Y'all rattling a cage we tried to rattle a week and a half ago. All right. So, welcome back in, everybody. And as most of you have probably heard, Savannah Guthrie has released another video this morning. It's pretty early, and I knew it was about time. And I've got my thoughts about it, but I feel like a lone wolf out here sometimes with my thoughts. I do have a question for everybody, though. After seeing that video, are we still convinced there was no kidnapping for ransom? I'm just curious. Because it seems like the only two possible theories nobody wants to accept, and I don't. Maybe that's because the talking heads haven't allowed everybody to get there yet because they're slowly coming around. But hell, it was the conversation I thought should have been explored from the get-go, but it's like, anyway, just curious. I guess I wonder if we're supposed to believe someone took her for no good reason, and now maybe they'll give her back if we offer money. Is that better? So weird. So weird. Hey, Sajoy, welcome in. Welcome in, everybody. For those of you who are tuning in and who have been coming back and have been here for just about every show we've done, and the ones that you miss, you catch on replay. I appreciate you. And y'all will know we haven't missed a thing. We've tried not to. We've tried to explore all the conversations. And I didn't need a guy who, and so this started circulating on Twitter yesterday at some point, and then I'm getting told about it, and I'm like, well, where were y'all a week ago when most of us discussed this photo? The guy on the X being promoted is the guy who told y'all this. I don't even know who that guy is. Never heard of him in my life. Never heard of him. I didn't need him to come riding in a couple days ago to tell me this picture was probably taken on a different day, because we've explored that here in depth. A lot of people had, right? So for the sources and the people tweeting the sourced information to act like we just now getting clued into that is bizarre when they know we've been asking the question. Hell, we've been tagging them in their comments. Please ask this, please ask that. Can we, I don't want to sound mean, can we think a little bit, right? Because we've been asking the question. And Mr. Steve, bless his heart, old school cop, told us all a long time ago, a couple years ago, first thing you need to take into account, especially at a nighttime crime, is the weather, to include the moonlight. People like me who live by the moon phases never discount the moon, right? We all had an indication, was this a different day, different time? Now, I saw some interesting theories onto why it's a different day and time. And to me, the most odd theory anybody could come up with, and I've posed the question, but nobody's biting on X because it's easier just to talk about the drama of it all. Everybody's like, oh, look, he was there at a different date, at an earlier date, saw the camera, and he got scared and he ran off. So he thought the best way to attack the camera was to come back with a gun and a backpack. And no real plan to cover up the camera that allegedly scared him off the first time. That makes a lot of sense, don't it? Can we think about that for a moment before we say it? So quit trying to sell me what you're selling, because I ain't buying, right? He may have been there on a prior date to canvass the home. Might be the same date for all I know, because they won't clarify nothing with a timestamp. Oh, and sir, people who really true crime all the time, the very first thing we look for in any video is going to be a timestamp. It ain't the last thing we think about. It is the first thing we think about. Timestamp, date, all that correct? We asked about timestamps the second these were released without a timestamp. Wow. I'm a little aggravated with social media right now, y'all. Or just, well, no, you know what? I take that back. Society irritates me. They always have. So can we move into the bigger topics? Because I think it's weird for everybody to go out there and just talk about the drama of it all. You know, poor big stupid sheriff. Da, da, da. Can we ignore him a minute? Ignore him. FBI recovered this with the help of Google and their big elaborate uh, lawful warrant the FBI talked about in partnership with the private sector. Nanos had nothing to do with this video. He don't even know what he's talking about. Carrie, we've been asking for the timestamp since the second it hit the internet. I promise you, it wasn't an afterthought that we're just now getting to. It was the first thought on a real true crimer's brain. And I know many who asked that same question, but I know the ones who glossed over and didn't even care. Oh, look, he's carrying his gun wrong. Well, he's trying to show a display of, I got a gun, you better see it. He ain't worried about shooting his shit off. It's probably on safety. Like, people are coming up with the craziest solutions in their head and without thinking logical about the solution they just come up with. Kind of like he's trying to hide that camera with that vine. Y'all might want to watch that again. You might be on the side of the road getting your phone downloaded for no reason. Because this dumb guy at the door got away with Miss Nancy. I'm not so willing to continue to call him dumb and insult his intelligence anymore, because that might make him mad and trigger a response. And I don't want that on my shoulders. Now, does any of you think for 1 second that guy walked up to that house, suddenly saw the camera, and turned tail and ran to come back with no real plan for the camera? Do we believe that? Because I don't. That's my opinion, though. And again, thank you for everybody who did tune in yesterday because those numbers really help small channels like me. I don't know how many will come back. I may have scared a few off. I don't know. But if you do come back, thank you and appreciate you. Really, I do. Um, I'm just trying to have conversations outside the box, conversations outside the drama and the headlines, because those are so easy to have. And I'm the kind of chick, I get bored with the weather conversations, right? I can only discuss the stupid weather for so long. It's never going to go away. Always going to be a part of my life. One day it's hot, one day it's cold. So freaking what? Can, yep, it's ridiculous conversation to me. It gets old, it gets boring, it gets me nowhere. It doesn't help me work through the things in my head I want to work through. And the only way to work through a lot of your theories is to discuss them without screaming, it don't make sense, it had to be a botched robbery. That is a very simplistic answer to get to when you don't want to explore other possibilities. And some may even call it tunnel vision. True crimers know about that tunnel vision. It's not good. It leads to bad things. All right, I'm going to pull up the video and we're going to take a look at what Savannah had to say this morning. To the kidnapper. Not the person who might have taken my mom, but to the kidnapper. Or kidnappers. And you know what? Little criminal networks that like to kidnap together might turn on each other because they got no real loyalty except to that dollar. Stalk from the hired gun at the door. Oh yeah, I do have Nick Reiner's little arraignment, whatever it was yesterday. I plead not guilty. And I know everybody's like, oh, that smirk on his face. Can we remember this man is very mentally disturbed? A drug addict from way back. The guy's not there. The marbles are they left the building a long time ago. The smirk meant nothing to someone like me who didn't expect much more out of the guy anyway. I know that the internet wanted to too, but I'm like, nah, hard pass, hard pass. I got some investigating to do, and I'm trying to put together information as to why this at that date, why at that time. What do you mean you saw something south of the border 5 days ago? That puts it at February 11th. Hmm. Anyway, I go deep. Surface shit. Okay. Let me pull up the video. And I've not seen anybody here continuously directly blame this family for anything. People have sent me stuff trying to get me to blame Savannah. Like, you got to do better if you want me to run with what you're sending me. I promise you I'm not the girl. If I ever get there and think they did, I'll let you know. But for now, I don't think they did anything. Because I'd hope the FBI is a little smarter than that. They can't outsmart the guy at the door yet, though. And finally, thank you, Brian, because I think you've been noticing my comments. Because you're finally getting to some of them questions that I super appreciate it. Let's move beyond the veil. Let's move beyond the veil. Because God, is that necessary? Oh, great. Hold on, let me pull it back up. Something happened. And you know what? I forgot that went live. Holy crap. I forgot to check my internet thingy. Oh well, if it doesn't work, I'll have to come back in a little while and redo everything. It is what it is. Okay, Let me get the video up. How many of you saw it this morning when it dropped on Instagram and then immediately it's making its way all over the news? Um, there's been all that chatter in certain chats. Why isn't the family searching? Why haven't they put up money? Why? Why are you sitting on the internet running your mouth about people you know nothing about? That's where I want to start saying to these people, why are you running your mouth about something you don't know nothing about? Give it a minute. Because I guarantee you they've been trying to do something. Because I don't care what anybody says, the FBI has not disregarded those ransom letters. Whoa. Why is it not working? Let me take that completely down. What in the heck is going on? I feel like it's at Mercury in retro. Like for real. It likes to mess with me when it does. It's my ruling planet. We go cattywampus occasionally. All right, let me get the actual video pulled up before I share the screen and do all that. Maybe that'll help me this time. Okay.
Hi there. I'm coming on to say it is day 24 since our mom was taken.
Carrie, honey, before that Google search stuff, if y'all listen to what Google said about those searches, they tried the same thing in the Idaho 4 case, Coffin Daffer. These Google searches, Coffin Daffer also went live with fake Google searches out of the Rick Allen case. That's a whole other story. But nothing can be written. You cannot hold stock in anything about those Google searches, right? It might have a relation, but probably not. You don't even know who searched them. I mean, this is where I listened to what Google had to say about it, because hearing a couple of experts come out, and then there's other experts have come out and tried to explain the Google search stuff history. So when someone says, "Oh, Google searches were done," I'm like, I need more. Please just don't tell me that is a fact and I'm gonna go like, there's the answer, because it's not that simple, right? And I promise y'all, I'm exploring everything out there being said. Just because may not talk about it on the airways doesn't mean I haven't seen it. If I haven't seen it yet, it's because it's happening while I'm live, right? But I'll find out in just a minute. So there's not a whole lot can be held in the Google searches. I'm more concerned about actual leads they have than a trend, right? And I just want everybody to understand those searches don't really mean a whole lot. There's a ton of information out there about it.
In the dark of night from her bed. And every hour and minute and second and every long night has been agony since then, of worrying about her and fearing for her and aching for her, and most of all, just missing her, We know that millions of you have been praying. So many people have been praying, of every faith and no faith at all, praying for her return. And we feel those prayers. Please keep praying without ceasing. We still believe. We still believe in a miracle. We still believe that she can come home. Hope against hope. As my sister says, we are blowing on the embers of hope. We also know that she may be lost. She may already be gone. She may have already gone home to the Lord that she loves and is dancing in heaven with her mom and her dad and with her beloved brother Pierce and with our daddy. And if this is what is to be, then we will accept it. But we need to know where she is. We need her to come home. For that reason, we are offering a family reward of up to $1 million for any information.
So what if the TMZ guy reaches out? Y'all, is everybody gonna call that it's still fake at that point? Will we even know if it's the same person?
That leads us to her recovery. All of the information about this reward and the details is in the caption below. You can call the 1-800-TIP line. You can be anonymous if you want. Someone out there knows
Yes, Carrie, they did. I'm going to address all these dates they're asking for in just a minute, guys. I'm well aware of what they've been asking for.
something that can bring her home. Somebody knows. And we are begging you to please come forward now. We also know that we are not alone in our loss. We know there are millions of families that have suffered with this kind of uncertainty. And for that reason today, we also are donating $500,000 to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children for their work in helping families who are coping with loss and actively looking for those who are lost. We are hoping that the attention that has been given to our mom and our...
Now, there's going to be a bunch of shady ass people on the internet here in a little while telling y'all that that was a bizarre statement. She's doing that to score brownie points and blah, 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 blah. Sit down with that shit. Because imagine the immense guilt she might feel knowing there are countless others nobody's looking for or paying that much attention to. And the guilt she may feel because her mom wanting that attention, of course, to help find her, but at the same time, it probably makes you feel a little weird. And society is weird.
family will extend to all the families like ours who are in need and need prayers and need support. So please, if you hear this message, if you've been waiting and you haven't been sure, let this be your sign to please come forward, tell what you know, and help us bring our beloved mom home so that we can either celebrate a glorious, miraculous homecoming or celebrate the beautiful, brave, and courageous and noble life that she has lived. Please be the light in the dark. Thank you.
Well, of course, it's compassion for other families. I think anybody, I know two mothers of missing girls, and they have the biggest compassion for each other and all the other missing in my community. If you don't have compassion, you have nothing. And people can't or should not attempt to fake compassion, especially around me. See, let me just remind Megan the difference between a real empath and a phony empath. The phony empaths are going to tell you, I'll teach you how to get that narcissistic guy out of your life, you little empath, you. That's why you keep attracting those narcissistic guys, because you're just an empath. That's so not true. That is not what an empath is. That is what a girl who doesn't know her own self-worth does. That's not a true empath, Megan. A true empath can see everybody's point of view, can feel everyone's emotions, and they get pretty good at weeding out the bullshit. And then they take the heat for being so blunt and honest. So we try real hard not to muddy up the waters with our empathness. I cannot. They have compassion, right? Do y'all think she's talking to... Is she blowing smoke, hoping there's a kidnapper? Or is she talking to the kidnapper? I still don't understand why people don't cannot let themselves think this was a kidnapping for ransom, whether it was TMZ shit or not, right? What if it was a kidnapping for ransom and that kidnapping went terribly wrong that night? Because I'm going to remind you, after the first letter came and the family said, "Can we get proof of life?" they never communicated with that original person again. But we're going to forget about that because it's so easy to say it was phony because we are convinced everything else that came after is phony. That invalidates the very first one you got. If you go back and you review some of this stuff that allegedly was said, everybody's like, "Oh, they could have got the information offline. We all knew about an Apple Watch." The guy never mentions an Apple Watch. Described what Nancy was wearing that night, described an item that was damaged in the home. And now we got some wacko DNA that everybody's just now figuring out had a problem. I remember asking a while back, what's wrong with that DNA? Don't take a damn rocket scientist to know. You get a profile off of what you got in the house and you start your IgG from that and your CODIS and all your that's. But we're focused on a glove 2 miles away. What's wrong with the DNA from the house? Turns out something's wrong with the DNA in the house. You barely got any. And we don't even know if it's tied to the crime unless it came off that broken, damaged item in the home. And I wonder what that could be. Of course, she's talking to anyone involved, Rachel. I mean, do you get the impression that she's talking, that she may have an individual in mind, or just trying to connect? To me, that's part of that's just part of the course, of course, to anybody who's got her. But I guess anybody could have took her for no reason. I mean, I think it's easy to understand there's compassion in the family and they're trying to reach the person who got them, their mother, and they're trying to do it with empathy and get them to get a little empathy inside of them, right? I got to personalize her because they don't care, all right? If they're the kind of heartless person that honestly has no compassion for another human being, they're not going to care about, especially a stalker. The more you suffer, the better. My job is done here. So there's two different people you could be trying to reach out to in that video. I'm trying to see if y'all can gauge maybe which one she's talking to. As far as the dates mentioned, January 11, February 11 is far more interesting to me. But the reason they're possibly looking at different dates has got nothing to do with a Google trend, because they were talking about that before the Google trend. When they're going through all the videos that the community's bringing, right? In the community, you got somebody on Street A. Street A guy says, "Hey, this car's never been in my neighborhood before. It was a weird time of day. I just saw it. You guys are asking for all kind of footage. Here you go." Now, is that a suspicious car on a certain date and certain time? Now, does anybody else happen to have video of this same? They're not going to say which car, but we need to look at all y'all's video from that day because we're trying to piece together if anybody else on that same day saw the same thing. Like, if you unpack a real true crime case top to bottom, and you go through the investigation and all the documents, you see all of this stuff. So when I talk about some of the things about these investigations and what I feel, is because I've based it all on the knowledge I've retained from the cases that I cover, right? I mean, we got to learn something from each case to take to the next case and so on. So I feel a lot of what's being talked about is standard stuff. I'm like, I'm surprised a little bit. But we got, so that's my whole point of why they're searching for certain days, certain cars. February 11th. We'll get to there in a minute. We'll get there on that date. Because I will also remind you, south of the border guy says, I know what I saw 5 days ago. Well, 5 days from that date, sir, would have been February 11th. What'd you see south of the border on the 11th? And what's it got to do with the Chevy Malibu? Anything at all? Got to cut through the fluff sometimes, man, to pay attention. Because I feel like somebody's wanting me to, not y'all, but they, quote unquote, they might be trying to distract me. Oh, and by the way, thank goodness they finally decided to put up no trespassing signs and a little makeshift fence outside of Miss Nancy's drive, or yard rather. Not the fence, but the putting up the no trespassing. They might put up a little temp fence like a construction site. I don't know. But stop delivering food to the house. Nobody's starving. They're there by choice. Restaurants are down the road. Somebody will save their spot. They can go back. Yeah, that's ridiculous. Can we stop sending food out there? That goes for anybody that's out there doing it. Y'all run across your people y'all might see, but I'm going to order some food. Just gently encourage them not to do that. Because the people out there are grown ass adults out there by choice. If they didn't take a snack, that's on them. Um, Sorry, I just got a beautiful DM from somebody who appreciates me. Thank you, sir. You're welcome. They shouldn't have got me fired up. When you do, you do. It's all on you. That's all. Yeah, it's all your fault. Then that was. I needed that. All right. Okay. So, other than the video being released, the family did ask, up it to $1 million, which is far more than the original um, money the FBI is offering, and it's more. You got the Bitcoin guys, all that, but now they got this $1 million. Plus, they're donating the 500,000 to the missing. Hopefully, it was an imaginary person that took the Miss Nancy. I hope that was a real guy at the door, not a hologram, and I hope he's listening. And if you're part of the kidnapping scheme and you got double crossed, here's your opportunity to get you some money. And if you're the hired gun for the stalker, they don't care about you. Cut your losses, man. Turn them in. Turn them in. She won't love you any more or less if you stick with her. Let me pull up these ridiculous tweets. Okay. This guy, I don't know where he be getting his damn shit from, but I don't even like you, and I don't care if I say it out loud. I don't care if people see who I'm talking about. You're a little weirdo man that I never understood to begin with, and I didn't pay you any attention in other crime cases because I just knew better. But you made some people fall all over you and want to argue with you. But I just got questions about these messy Marvin sources. Y'all need to sit down, sources, because you've become the problem. Little bite for you, and a little bite for you, and a little bite for you, and a little bite for you. Now it's up to us to go piece together all the little bites and breadcrumbs they dropped throughout the day to be posted onto social media. How come we're not calling out the sources now? because I'm a bit over their asses. Now we got this guy. He got one too. He's got one too. DePetro. I don't even know how you say his damn name. NBC sources claim Savannah Guthrie wanted to post one. NBC sources. Funny how y'all keep popping up everywhere. NBC. Huh. I'd be looking within the company myself. I'd have a hard look within that company. NBC sources claim Savannah Guthrie wanted to post $1 million reward on day one, but the sheriff discouraged it. Blah, 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 blah. Really wouldn't have been his call. Sit the hell down, old man. Who knows what to make of that? Because she came out with other videos offering other things, the reward and all that. So I don't even know what this little man's talking about. Y'all be safe on them YouTube streets. Yeah, I know who he is. That's why I just had to show it because I like to. Sometimes I be liking to call these fools out because I'm over it. I bet you we got 15, 30 sources by the end of the day telling us something new, something different. Y'all want to make a running bet right now by 6 o'clock tonight what the next breaking source revealed information is going to be? Again, are we getting back at the sheriff or are we getting at the FBI? Which one is it? Sources. Because if you're really good investigators and you know that we're supposed to keep it close to the vest because that's the best thing for the integrity, what are you doing with your sourcing out information? Kind of like that shit in Idaho we had to put up with. Sources say, and everybody attacked them. Everybody attacked them. Oh, your sources suck. Ashley Banfield sucks. Y'all hate Brian Koberger. You suck. You sources. Lord. It's like one day we like the FBI and one day we don't. Like, what? God, I hope I never need them because I don't maybe not like them all the way, but damn, their resources. Shit, I ain't going to talk too bad about them. I really might need them one day. Well, I question their legality sometimes, but hey, that's just what I do. Okay. So then we had 3 people tweet about the DNA. I think the first one came from Libby Dean that everybody was citing. And all her tweet said was the DNA found inside Nancy Guthrie's home was only a partial sample and was not viable for CODIS, a source familiar with the investigation tells me. Fuck, didn't we discuss did that shit ever go to CODIS, 2 weeks ago? Got to keep the story going, though, don't we? Trickle it out in pieces. I see your comment. There was another one, and I'll show you. I'll have to get the screen up. I was just reading hers because they're almost becoming like. Did they just like give out a little sources statement today and then email it to all the peoples? Okay, so let me see. Was this one different? Yeah, Mike's was a little different. Again, is it one source running their hot little mouth or is it multiple? We got a chatty Cathy in the mix. All right, so Mike posted. See, this is why everybody, wants to come at me with 50 different things. I see it all, and I see what they're all telling me different things, right? I see it. Ugh. It's like at the end of the day, you can't take enough for your headache and just put the phone down, burn some sage, and go to bed. And say a prayer for Miss Nancy and light a candle, even. The DNA samples recovered from inside Nancy Guthrie's home mainly came back to people who had a reason to be there. Didn't we hear something about that a while back? According to 2 federal law enforcement sources. Oh, he got 2. Shit, federal. FBI. Y'all talking? The people who won't talk to the public and who will not hold a adequate press conference is A-OK with sourcing out information. I've heard multiple retired agents tell me for days FBI is not saying shit to nobody. They owe you nothing. They don't give press conferences. Well, but they don't mind running to the media with some sourced information, huh? I'm supposed to accept that shit? Because y'all told me that's how y'all operate? Hmm. Now I got bigger questions. Shouldn't have told me that. See how that works? They think they can say things, and I just go away with my cute little thoughts. You just came hard. Guess who comes harder? Especially when a 84-year-old woman's life is in the balance and all reporters can seem to do is fight about who gets the best and the most from a source. Other words, they ain't got shit from that DNA as I predicted. You got some touch DNA off a doorknob from a gloved up guy. Yeah, we gonna get somewhere with that case and solve it today. Now, Enton has also tweeted about it. I'm sure the minute that news hit, they were all on speed dial to their sources. Every one of them. I think I demanded in Sebastian Rogers they get out and clean up their freaking mess and say something. And I'm telling you, 200 people came at me in a chat. You don't understand, Salty. They got to keep it close to the vest. They don't owe us anything. No shit. That's been the status quo for 30 years. People, where you been? It's time for a change. Can I not say that out loud without getting ran over by the bus? Because I'm an idiot for asking such a question? When we just sit down and take it, guess what happens? Now, CBS had a article about it. We'll see what it said. Because they don't have, in my mind, and I tried to, Brian Enton's last video, was it one of the ones from over the weekend? It might have been last night's. I couldn't help it anymore. You just presented another FBI agent who told the masses something completely different than what CC Moore told Ashley Banfield the day before. Complete opposite opinions. So I asked him to please follow up on that. I hope he goes and listens to CC's convo with Ashley and then back to his guy in that convo and can kind of get to the bottom of that. Because y'all are confusing the masses when you do that shit. You're just creating confusion. And you can see it in Enton's face when the guy is talking about some of it. He's like, whoa, wait. Wait. So I commend you, Brian. I think you're taking notes on the side. And I think you're getting back to some of the things you know are important. I got faith in you. Because it's time to circle back and start asking the questions they wanted us to stop asking to start with. Like, why hadn't you caught the guy who's writing the ransom letters yet? With all your capabilities. DNA from Nancy Guthrie's house may not provide enough evidence to help investigators. So they got everybody's hopes up for nothing, like I said. DNA recovered from inside Nancy Guthrie's house may not provide enough evidence to help the investigators identify the people behind the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. According to sources close to the investigation, yeah, I changed her words. It needed to be fixed. With the investigation into Guthrie's disappearance now in its fourth week, authorities have named a suspect or a person of interest in the case. Last week, the Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos said in a statement that all of Nancy Guthrie's children and spouses were cleared, which I think even in the FBI's mind, they probably are preliminarily cleared, but can never be off the table. That's just how they roll. Um, and I think common sense should tell us that with any case we've ever looked at. They're never totally cleared. That also, so many things about this case seem to broke the internet, which shouldn't have broken the internet. Um, but they did. This one man single handedly broke the internet for what, how long now? So he clears the family. Earlier Tuesday, Savannah announced that her family was offering the reward of up to. Oh, y'all have updated your story, hadn't you? You did. uh, okay, let me get up. The DNA profile from a set of gloves found about 2 miles from the house didn't match any entries into the national database maintained by the FBI, known as, we know what CODIS is, the Sheriff's Department said. The database contains DNA profiles of individuals with previous arrest who have supplied their sample. Authorities have turned to an investigative technique called genetic genealogy. Are we doubling, tripling down that we're doing IgG on that glove 2 miles away? Solid profile came off that glove, apparently, and the person's not a known criminal. Pretty sure the hired gun is probably known to law enforcement. It's some low level type shit. But okay. The process has been used to crack some notable cases in the past decade, including the so called Golden State Killer, which was a huge case where it was used and is the only way they caught him. He eluded authorities for over 40 years, and the man behind the high profile killings of four Idaho college students who happened to leave his knife sheath right dead ass next to a victim. And his name was Brian Koberger. It doesn't bother me to say his name, because when I say it, it's in vain, and he absolutely feels it to his core. Trust me, I made sure. The method involves using publicly available, it makes me want to say, Stefan Stearns, you hear me, Bubba? The method involved, every time I say it, it's like a voodoo doll, right? Like, voodoo you, I'm going to take me a trip down to New Orleans. I ain't far from New Orleans. I can get down there in a minute. I'll go get me a new one. I don't really have one, y'all, but I could go get one if I wanted one. The method involves using publicly available genealogy sites to find genetic relatives of unidentified DNA samples. So, even if they get to a name from the glove, right, they cannot do anything about it. They can't go arrest the guy because we finally got your name and you match what we found on that glove 2 miles away. They have to start an investigation with the FBI search warrants because the state will get into trouble because you got to have probable cause to look into the person. DNA 2 miles away is not enough probable cause. If you can't prove that glove came from that house and Nancy's blood is not on the glove, if it was, that'd be different, right? It would be a whole different ball game. That can absolutely be tied back to the crime scene now because it matches my victim's blood. So once they get a name from that lone glove, they got to find evidence that person did anything. Knew Nancy, knew of Nancy, knew Savannah, knew of Savannah, her sister, her tomato brother in law, had communications with other people in on the scheme. Car that might match a car we're already looking for, but nobody knows about yet because we've managed to keep that piece hid. Or have we? I just wish they wouldn't give false hope to everybody. Maybe they just don't want everybody to know how the guy at the door is not quite as dumb as y'all think. Claire Glenn, the director of the graduate level program in forensic investigative genetic genealogy at the University of New Haven in Connecticut, told CBS News that law enforcement agencies are generally allowed to use two databases. Okay. There, there were three total that y'all can use legally. But once the FBI gets it, that's a different ball game, right, Brian Koberger? I'll say it again, right, Brian Koberger? Family tree, DNA, blah, 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 blah. See, I don't even care. I feel like I've been over this, so I cannot go over it anymore. If y'all don't understand how it works, I do apologize. We've held shows. They can only search three databases on the state level legally. Othram did that in the Brian Koberger case and landed back on two cousins of Brian Koberger. No more information could be had from the family tree because that's just where it stopped in the databases. But the FBI says, hold on, Othram, let us have it. Because when we don't extract DNA and we don't develop the profile, that's on you guys. Right, CC? Yeah. And then we give it to us and we're going to use the back door. Shh. Shh. And we got your guy, by the way. I'd love to know who's actually on their IGG team, right? The ones in there looking up the tree going, damn. Okay. Just sent me on a whole other, like my brain like got bored for a minute and I don't like being angry. So I'm like, wait a minute, I'm gonna go off on that trail. It sounds better. Rainbows and puppies. Take me there instead of this place of disgust. I don't like sitting in disgust. It's heavy. Jedmatch Pro told CBS News that they'll okay. So they're going to try, I guess, to develop from that glove because what they got in the house apparently is absolutely useless. We got a mixture of DNA that contains nothing. They even said there's a very small portion of it, right? So then I was reading an article about how even with that small portion, they may be able to duplicate this, what? You gonna do what to it? You're fixing to do what to that DNA? No, 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 we're not altering DNA. We're not expanding it. We're not duplicating it till we get there. Unacceptable. You come with me, you better come correct with a whole profile or don't come at all. And your familial match from the state databases that do allow it, you got to have a pretty decent amount there to even get that. But once you get that, we still got to corroborate that legal process. Y'all better want to throw that in there. Other publicly available DNA submission sites don't allow law enforcement agencies to use their services as freely without going through the legal process. So, Cash Patel, stop partying for a minute and get busy with your private sector partnership and serve those lawful warrants on the big databases. Problem solved, right? I fixed it for you. I didn't forget you said that. To me, that was the most important part of your whole little conversation with Hannity on the phone. Because everybody else want to throw shade and be dramatic. And I'm like, no, 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 let him fucking talk for a minute. I want to hear. Because they'll slip up usually if y'all pay attention. I already know he's an idiot. That's not what I came here for. I didn't come for the popcorn. I don't want to hear what he's got to say. I'm listening for the unexpected. That's when I find out things, including from all the talking heads I've gotten to know over the past 2 weeks. Only a few I'm going to have respect left for at the end. I try to make my judgments fair, you know what I mean? I don't know. What do y'all think about this DNA mixture? Not enough there. Where did it even come from? Rachel Cece explained the process on Banfield. I actually played it here yesterday. People, I just played that portion of it. So anybody who wants to go back and hear what she actually had to say about it, go back to yesterday's show and you'll see we played the part from Ashley Banfield interviewing Cece that took place over the weekend. And she said something very curious about how come this Florida lab caught so much shade. And let me say that part out loud again. She said the original tweet about the devastating fact that they was sent to the Florida lab, that guy owns a competition lab. And she felt like they were doing it for posturing. Our company's better than theirs. Like, are you fucking kidding me right now? You freaking messy adults. Because those of us who can do their own research already knew there was nothing wrong with the Florida lab. Hell, I've tried to say that here too, right? It's not the lab's fault, y'all, that the DNA's messed up. It's the DNA's fault because there's nothing there. It could be not fingerprints, but skin particles off the doorknob from outside the door that 15 people touched. It could be the front doorknob. Hopefully, people aren't just going up and opening Nancy's door like deliveries, but they're pushing the doorbell. Her friends are coming over. They're touching things. She just had friends over a couple of nights before all of that happened, right? Look at the King Road house. All the parties and all the people and all the beer pong cups that we saw everywhere and the beer bottles and the massive amount of DNA floating all around that house. Of course, those were messy college kids who going to do their thing. Miss Nancy, I bet, was a little more tidier, a little more cleaner, but it's been explained to death to us of how easy it is to get that DNA into our home, and CC goes over that as well. Touch DNA transferred from a delivery package. Those things are discussed there, which I think are super important to understand this DNA thing. Because we've been getting different stories on this DNA for over a week. And then when people first started going on and on about it, I was like, no, 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 that's not how that works. That don't make any sense what y'all just said, and half of y'all know better. Y'all don't know how frustrating that was for me. Like, I felt like it came out in my lives a couple times, and I don't like to be that way, but I knew better, and so did they. And that bothered me. Now they're ready to have those conversations because it's a dead news day? I don't know. I got warned about they and false news fucking forever ago, and I tried to listen, but it's just getting harder, man. It's getting harder out here. Y'all feel my pain? Just a little bit. Now, Nerdy Addict, who is an account that Butterfly and I both follow. I've known of Nerdy's account for a long, long time, a couple years. He's informative. He brings stuff. He presents it without trying to get you to form an opinion, right? Just here it is. So he had found a couple of things already. Super interesting stuff. I love the way he keeps an eye on the flight patterns because that's super important if you're going with a kidnapping theory, because you can never take it off the table. And if you're going to pull off an elaborate Bitcoin for a ransom type scheme, you might have a little private jet sitting around somewhere to get your victim out of town. Who knows? Right? So, due diligence. All right. So, a couple of police audio things came out, right? And remember when they expanded the dates, right? Going back to the dates they're looking for. Why January 11? Then why go back to January 1? What's going down on February 11th? Because they reached out again on that date too. If you have anything specific to this date, let us know. I think as tips are coming in and they're reviewing stuff, they're looking to see, do we have more on this date that can match this date, right? To me, that makes sense in my brain if I'm trying to figure out why they're doing what they're doing. Um, that makes sense. Now, curiously enough, I know a lot of people here don't want to talk about it, but the TMZ, one of their letters said, what I saw 5 days ago. And I'm like, 5 days ago? What day was this? What day? 5 days ago? As far as the timeline, where would it fit in? Is this guy making any sense? That would have put UC and Nancy south of the border February 11th. I know when she was kidnapped, and it wasn't February 11th. So then Nerdy finds these two videos. Oh, I'm going to show Nerdy's videos, but they're of the audio dispatch. And I don't know really what to make. One of them is odd because the timing would be off, right? And we'll go listen to that one first. And then this is where you have to ask yourself where these tips coming in, because the first one I'm going to show you or let you listen to is going to reference a Chevy Malibu. Then the second audio is also going to reference one on February 11th. Why so? Why? Because y'all figured out what happened on that February 1 incident, and you're now wondering, is it tied to the Guthrie case? And I'm like, is that how that would make so much sense to me in my mind if that's how that worked. Going back and reviewing stuff, and they're like, y'all know we did have this incident here. Timing may not be perfect on it, but we got to look at it. And now, did they just stumble upon that on the 11th and decide to investigate further? Because it appears the first time you had no tag number, but the second time you may have. So I got questions, but I'm going to let y'all help me work through it, okay? Yeah, Nerdy's pretty awesome. And thank you, Butterfly. She's got his link down there. He has a YouTube channel and X as well. And when he put the first one out, I listened to it because I usually, well, there's only a certain people out there that I make a point to go see what they got right now. If do I want to review, you know what I mean? There's a few go-tos that I will go to for things like that. Um, I can't hashtag it on YouTube and hope and pray I get something good, because my God, it's going to be a hot mess. But I try to learn my go-tos, right? Okay, so this one was, let me get this one up on the screen first. Okay, so this is a call that came in on February 1st, 2:01 a.m. That time don't fit. Nancy's pacemaker didn't go offline till when? 2:12. So 31st would have been overnight, the kidnapping going into the first, right? So she's still in her home at 2:12 according to the timeline we've been provided with. But this is super interesting. So if you're an investigator and you realize this took place on that same night, but you don't realize it till days later, you're going to go back and investigate it. You know what I mean? So see what y'all think. Here we go.
10-4, it's going to be at Oracle and River. The caller is advising they saw a female out of a vehicle window screaming. Then it went northbound on Oracle. The vehicle was a dark gray or blue Chevy Malibu, no plate. Advised that the female was hanging out of the window wearing all black, and the door was also open.
10-4, can you advise PCSO and see if air is available?
10-4, we're advising PCSO now, and air is not up.
10-4.
0004.
4A.
Okay, did y'all catch what that? I'll go back and let that play again if y'all want me to. Hey, Happy. Welcome back. How's the trial going? Anything I need to go review? That lady, if that crazy lady takes the witness stand, let me know. I'll watch that for the popcorn purposes. Okay, so they have a lady. Someone described this Malibu, and there's a lady in it, and she is screaming. She's hanging out the window. The door is open. What in the hell is that? And who's in that car? Okay, y'all want to hear it again?
For a vehicle of interest in the Nancy Guthrie case, left
Oh, wait, did it not?
in the area of Ina Road in Thornydale, unknown direction of travel. Just 90 units, stand by to copy and attempt to locate for a vehicle of interest in the Nancy Guthrie case, left in the area of Ina Road in Thornydale Road, unknown direction of travel. It's going to be a
That's it. When they. Okay, hang on. This is the second video. Let me go back and play the first one. That's exactly what they just did. Hold on. See, I saved this to unpack in real time. My true crime brain gets to go, and I'm like, what? Hold up. Okay, we're going to play the very first one again and listen to what they say, and then we'll roll into that second one. Okay, first one. Let me get it back up. February 1st, 2:01 a.m. is when this is occurring over dispatch. Okay.
Or it's going to be at Oracle and River. The caller is advising they saw a female out of a vehicle window screaming. Then it went northbound on Oracle. The vehicle was a dark gray or blue Chevy Malibu, no plate. Advised that the female was hanging out of the window wearing all black, and the door was also open.
And for TMI PCSO.
Okay, so y'all hear it that time? That's what happened that night. So now we roll into the second audio, and the way they're talking about it, she describes that incident. I just caught that, I think. Let's see.
And see if air is available.
10-4, we're advising PCSO now, and air is not up.
10-4.
0004. For a vehicle of interest in the Nancy Guthrie case, last
Okay, so this is a vehicle of interest in the Nancy Guthrie case, February 11th.
in the area of Ina Road in Thornydale, unknown direction of travel. Just 90 units, stand by to copy and attempt to locate for a vehicle of interest in the Nancy Guthrie case, last in the area of Ina Road in Thornydale Road, unknown direction of travel.
So she just described the first incident we heard.
It's going to be a dark blue 2019 Chevy Malibu, Arizona, Mary, Adam, Lincoln, Ida, Boy, William, Union, William.
First time they didn't have a license, now they do. Weird.
Vehicle of interest in Nancy Guthrie case sometime on 2/11/2016 in the I-930 area. If located, PC will need to be established for stop to identify the driver.
PC will need to be established to identify the driver. You mean probable cause? Like pull him over? Lawfully? You failed to turn on your blinker? Ooh. At least they thought about that one, didn't they? Like, don't just pull him over.
Again, it's going to be a vehicle of interest. It's going to be a dark blue 2019 Chevy Malibu, Arizona, Mary, Adam, Lincoln, Ida, Boy, Union,
So if
William.
they even have anything of a license plate, do you think they've found that person by now and questioned them? What are y'all's thoughts?
Last seen in the area of Ina and Thornydale, and of attempt to locate 2215 hours.
Okay. Look, I had a knock on the door one day, and it was the Federal Bureau of Investigations, and I was like, what are you doing at my house? They were investigating somebody I know who was in the Navy for security purposes. And of course he passed and all that shit, but I know how it rolls. They go deep. But they go so deep we can't find the guy at the door. And we've yet to find the person writing the letters to the TMZ of it all. So, for the world's dumbest criminals, since everybody on the internet's calling them that, the idiot letter writers and the idiot at the door, you've successfully pulled it off, haven't you? Which one will bite first for the money? That's my question. It really depends on the situation. If I'm going with a stalker or a kidnapping gone wrong, I'm on the fence at the moment still about where I really. One makes me extremely more nervous than the other. Because one is, if you can believe it, far more frightening than the other. Do y'all think those two back to back, those two calls we just heard, was them investigating a tip that they realized about an incident that happened? If you got a kidnapped lady and you realize you got a report that night of a lady hanging out of a car screaming and windows and doors open, are you not going to look at that? And then here we are, what, according to this audio, just a little while later, they're doing just that. I think that's why that has never been released as a vehicle of interest up to this point, right? February 24th. Nothing publicly has been stated about this car. And I think if it was important to the case, they probably would have, because it sounds like a getaway type car to me. Kind of like the throwaway gun in front of the crotch. Didn't buy that shit at no damn pawn shop or gun shop. Not legally. Not the crooks. Not the hired guy at the door. Or the guy with the big heart who can't turn the girl down. I don't know. Because if I'm going to go with stalker, that was a man that put another man up to kidnapping her mother. Not in my mind. I could be wrong. Could be a man doing that, but I don't underestimate the women. Yeah, let me know if she takes a stand happy, because I mean I'm sure I'll see it on the streets, but that trial just started, right? So if y'all hear, the things going around about the only place I've heard us talk about that Chevy is in Nerdy's, the community right there, that part. Um, there may be some. There's a lot of people on Twitter I've not been paying a lot of attention to, because I've learned to expect what I expect out of them. So I'm just trying to really narrow myself down to a few places I even want to go into anymore, to look for an update or to see or hear a conversation, because there's so much out there, right? And 95% I've already talked about or discussed. And I'd be down for a whole conversation about some of it, but yeah, that trial started Monday. I just can't get. I've never been able to even look at that lady. Okay, see, I know females, and that one right there, for some reason, the minute it all broke about this lady being arrested and writing the children's books and other, I mean, I know about the case, don't get me wrong. Y'all should know be better than that by now. But yeah, I have no desire to even look at her, be in that room with her, feel her energy. Would have to make me work hard energetically, and I'm just not. I'm just not. I'm exhausted. I don't know why with that one. Just cannot do her. But if she wants to be a bloomin' idiot and take the stand and explain herself, I'm here to hear it. Um, there's really not a whole lot more I can talk about theory-wise, because I don't know that anybody else is even behind one of the two theories I think about. So if y'all want to discuss your theories, I'm willing to go there and see if mine changes. And I wonder, if the enticement of that money is just too overwhelming right now, that somebody's about to crack. I hope that happens, because money is the root of all evil, and it speaks volumes to some people, especially, oh, and that queen for the day. In Florida, we call it turning states evidence. It's been around for decades. You get to talk today, and we will be easy on you. We know, Jennifer Soto, we know. Or at least I do. Again, can we not make big deals about some things that are not big deals, that are standard stuff, right? Explain it, please. I don't know what they call it in all states, but in my state, that's what it's called. And it's always been a thing. Like pleading no contest in Florida. It's like standing silent in Idaho. Hey, Kentucky. How are you? Kentucky lucky. The stars are stacked against you, girl. Get back in bed. It's like, nah, but I feel lucky, right? So Brian Enton did have a little conversation with his guest about why the FBI haven't caught the TMZ letter writers. And I'm laying there in my bed, relaxing, warm, because it's cold in Florida finally. And I sat up. I'm like, yes, Brian, let's get there, please. I just need to rule this shit out because I need to hear more. Why haven't they caught the guy writing the stupid letter? The stupid letter writer? What an idiot that is. Did y'all watch that interview? Did y'all listen to that part of the conversation? I can pull it up and we can play it, I think. Because I got other shit I'd love to evaluate with an open mind, right? Like, just start from the beginning. Sometimes you have to go back to the beginning and take nothing off the table. And that's where I get to a certain point in these cases when it's like, no, let's see if we can make it make sense. It don't make sense. My brain says, try to make it make sense. And if it don't make sense, then it's probably not the answer. Yeah, we can only hope, right? That the form that prayer chain. I hope that Nancy's still out there alive and well, but I doubt it. Because I already know the people aren't even in the United States anymore. They'd be fools to still be in the United States of America. Absolute fools. And if everybody's right and they're that stupid, they're sitting somewhere right there in Tucson, panicking. Maybe they are, because they're too scared to try to escape until they get their hands on the money they got double crossed from. See, I still got things to work out in my theories, y'all. I need y'all's help. Nobody's biting, but okay. All right. Y'all thinking? Y'all hear how my brain works in real time, and it ain't always pretty. It's a little messy. I will straight up argue with myself in a moment. And if you look at the timeline, if you consider it, of the ransom notes and what happened in between said notes, I know the FBI has been looking at all that because they'd be foolish not to. Because Because if that was my mama and I got some damn media's getting some strange letters, you better find out who the hell's doing it, and I mean find them now. Where's my security team? For real? If that was my mama, she wouldn't be living alone. She'd have security 24/7. Blah 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 blah. Are we gonna put up with all this other shit people think Savannah's putting up with? You know what I mean? It's just so easy to get caught up in all that drama. I watch that shit for free on TV when I'm in the mood because I don't have drama in my own life. So I laugh at the weird bitches on TV with drama because I'm like, who, who cares? Who really? I think it's so funny because I people watch and people can be ridiculous sometimes. And there's some fantastic people out there in this space as well that I absolutely love and that I love to have conversations with. And I like to debate the issues with them and the evidence with them and things of that nature, right? Rachel and Butterfly, I don't know how they put up with me sometimes. I'll be honest. They're probably sitting at home rolling their eyes going, we know, Salty. But hey, they're down 83. I know you got some thoughts, man. You've been around a hot minute. We met your wife. We certainly did, and we appreciated her coming in. Um, Stalker, and something went wrong. So when I actually let myself go there that it's a stalker, what was the stalker's ultimate plan by taking her mother? Was it just to hurt her at her core? Did they have a plan for after, right? What was their plan for after we took her? That's where my next, if I let myself go with it's a stalker like that, man or woman, then what was the point of just taking her? And what was the plan for after I got her? Would they pretend she's their mom now in their sick, warped ass mind and they're caring for her? We can only hope because that could be the case if it's a female. See, we got to look at the options of why somebody would do it now. So I'm down for that conversation if anybody wants to help me unpack that. And then something could have went wrong. Yeah, but a stalker's not going to ask for ransom, right? That money is not on the stalker's mind. Probably not. It's probably got nothing to do with money at all. It's hurt you at your core. And what better way to get back at Savannah Guthrie, if not her children that you cannot get to, her mother, who unfortunately was vulnerable and you could, which was readily available information. And like Maureen said when she was discussing stalkers, those pesky little bitches don't go away. And she said that Savannah had one in the past, a female. And when Dr. Ann heard the word female stalker, she's like, really? How long ago was that? I'm like, yes, ladies, let's get to that conversation. But the men shut it down real quick, like. And I don't get that. But okay. Hopefully they'll elaborate next week, maybe. I can only hope. The psychology part of crimes, maybe I should have went into criminology because that psyche part of why these people commit their crimes, what motivates a human to do what they're about to do, and trying to understand that does make a difference as far as predicting things, right? Like, why do y'all think they've been studying BTK? Why do y'all think she's studying Koberger right now? I'll die on that hill. Why do you think Dr. B's always got a prime spot on the interview room panel? Because those things matter. And I have always been intrigued by that side of it. Hey, Simi Sharp. That ain't no random burglar, Simi. I know in my mind, Nancy made it home because of the blood on the front porch. When somebody can come with a logical explanation logical for that blood to be in there, other than it got dropped from a turkey basting thingy or something. Outside of that, what tells you Nancy never got home? Would be my first question. And then I never thought it was a robbery gone wrong, right? Never. I ain't coming for you, girl. You know, yeah, I need to get you up here so we can go at it and let everybody laugh at us. I'm just trying to pick your brain as what will when so I hear something like, well, what makes you think that? Y'all get to ask me that too. I'm begging y'all to ask me the questions. What makes you think that? You know. Well, here's why. What's your thought? Random thoughts. Y'all hear my random thoughts? They're just rolling out of my mouth. No rhyme, no reason to them. Sometimes they just roll out. Mm. You think because she was the whistleblower, all that, yeah, they're just now getting back at her? Could be. Yeah, I cannot with the burglary gone wrong talk anymore. Like, I hope nobody who believes that ever gets robbed, because I just hope you don't. We got a guy sitting in jail right now, not here, the Flynn case, absolutely called 911 and told them his wife just got shot in the head and there was an intruder in the house. They didn't hurt him and his little girls, but they shot his wife in the head. Intruder. Sure it was, sir. I don't know. There is no burglar gonna steal the lady and not the goods. Just, come on, man. I need to shut my channel down if I even try to push that theory on my people. I'd be like, that is sad. If that's all you got, man, that's really all your brain has got. Robbery gone wrong. What are we doing here? You gotta think big, man, and think about the unexpected. And there's just the way this information is coming out sourced and pieced out, right, is big, makes some of it makes things make sense, and some of it just confuses everybody. Because the minute something is said by a source, sheriff's like, God darn it, I gotta go make a statement to the NBC people again. And then in 5 seconds, everybody's tweeting out the new statement, the new statement, the new statement. And then another source will be out in an hour with another piece of information. He's like, damn it, here I go again. It's exhausting. I mean, what did you say that I missed? Happy birthday to Simi Sharp? How did I miss that? Is it Simi's birthday? Oh my God. Uh, Elizabeth Smart's captors were male and female. Could it be the same for 84-year-old Nancy? Taking away the ransom. Yeah, because I feel like if it is a stalker situation, is it a woman who was obsessed with Savannah or mad enough to be obsessed? And the guy at the door's the guy she had been sleeping with, who was already a street level knowledge of stuff, or a guy she found in a bar one night because she had a plan. Women can get men. Now, in Elizabeth Smart's case, he, because it's going to sound weird, but Wanda wasn't the top dog, right? She followed him. So this case, I think it would be the opposite. The guy at the door is following the female, if a female is involved. That's how I see it would play out. That's how I can make that work in my mind as to why the guy at the front door would go along with some chick, right? Oh, wait a minute. We know why. We know why. Maybe Saturday was your 63rd. You're just a couple years older than me, Simi. That's why we get along so well. We are cut from the same cloth, girl. We are. No, no burglary gone wrong. No, no, no. 83, you think there's certainly a female involved? Because y'all, even if you're a obsessed, crazy female stalker, you may still present those feminine qualities needed to care for an elderly person, to make her comfortable, and to keep her alive and sustain her. Why would the person go through all that, though? If the only end game there was to only harm Savannah, it didn't matter if her mom lived or died. Um, is there a possibility that it is a stalker situation and somebody does have Miss Nancy and she's fine? She just needs to be found, right? We could hope for that because that's not outside the realm either. There is sick as it is. There are documentaries out there on people who have. J.C. Dugard is a prime example of these relationships these captors, abductors form with the people they take. They love them as sick as it is, and they care for them. And then the captive person becomes dependent on the abductor. J.C. Dugard was missing as a child, found as a grown woman living in a man's backyard after she birthed his children. You can look it up. J.C. Dugard. And we've talked about Elizabeth Smart and how she formed that relationship with her abductor to keep herself alive. Couldn't I don't think Nancy is dumb. I think Nancy could figure out she may need to do the same thing. Because then she can begin to play on the empathy of the person who took her. There could be a whole psychological game going on behind the scenes that none of us are aware of because that psychological stuff is just too much to absorb. Because sometimes it might make people see something they don't want to see about themselves. I don't know. Hey, did I catch your comment, Butterfly? Some people still have a lot of value for other people and some don't. The wicked walk among us. It is what it is. Y'all stay super vigilant out there. Pay attention to the shadows. Don't go venturing out at night alone. Lock every door and window you got. Don't make it easy for them. Do not make it easy for them. And can we please stop having grown ass people come on TV in 2026 saying we just don't lock our doors? Fuck, you got bears and shit around your yard? Because I live in the country and I'm locking my door. I seen the bears. And them bitches are quite smart. It's called the Bears of South Santa Rosa. We laugh and laugh all the time about all the shit we see these stupid bears do. And come to find out, they're not that stupid. They get your little dog. You better be careful. Don't go in the backyard. You better look for the bear first. The bobcat, the panther. Hey, Jet, welcome in. I'm just rambling today. Absolutely rambling right at the moment. I'm a little frustrated. So we got mixture, partial, not enough there to dust the fucking house with DNA. That maybe they can separate and get enough of a profile built to develop. Never mind, I'm not going to go into all that again. You got to get the STR profile and all this shit before you can go any further. Before they can even do that, it's not enough there to do it with, apparently. Sources still say we're doing some IgG on a glove from 2 miles away. As if that's going to solve the case in the end, but it won't without evidence against the person. And then we've got sources leaking about the video or the. So, what do y'all think about that? Remember how a lot of us said this was already what's up with that because of the lack of. Did y'all see what the sheriff said about it? In different stages of clothed. How did he say it? Let me pull it up. Listen to this ridiculous word salad. I'll make fun of him right now. Hold on. Like we see that. We we questioned it from the second it was dropped. Okay. And there's apparently people on X who don't know that we asked those questions in true crime already. But okay, we'll let them catch up. All right. So 17 hours ago, statement regarding the doorbell surveillance footage. We are aware that doorbell images released earlier in the investigation depict a suspect in different stages of attire, including without a backpack. There is no date or timestamp associated with these images. Therefore, any suggestion that the photographs were taken on different days is purely speculative. Okay, so then how do y'all know? How do we know this was the night she was abducted then? Because he's got a gun this time? Because the last update I read or explanation was because there was no subscription. There's no timestamps on any of this. Then how do we know that that was from the gunned up guy was from the same night? Y'all see Nancy come out before the camera got removed? Is there really a camera in the house that sees her being escorted from her home? Where does the blood in the house start? Bedroom, living room, kitchen, back door. I don't know. How do they know? If there's no timestamps on any of the information that they got from Google, how do they know when this occurred? What night, for sure? Did he succeed getting that thing off? Because the video stops after he gets through his little fiasco or whatever I wonder if he's laughing, going, them fools. I was not trying to cover up that camera. God dang. I just don't know if he got it popped off with his vine or not, or if he had to pull a screwdriver out of his backpack. See, because if they want me to believe that this guy here was surveilling the property and saw that there really is a camera, I need to go and come back prepared for that camera. And what the fuck? Really? He didn't bring something that he knew could pop that camera off easily? He didn't consider some black electrical tape to throw over it? What kind of word salad are they giving me? What kind of explanations are they giving me? Y'all stay tuned. I'm sure another source will tell us something after a while. I couldn't tell you anything about Annie and Tom's alleged gambling debts or loan. I'm sure all their financials have been looked into when they took their devices. Financials are on the top of the list in any investigation. Follow the money, right? Follow the money. And still nobody's been arrested to this day for the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. Nobody. So Tommaso is pretty fucking smart right now if he did anything. And so are the hired guns. Somebody's real smart right now. I just don't know who yet. My money's on the people who can hide their identity extremely well. Because I'm sure they didn't just poof into a portal. TMZ's already made their statements this morning, though. I mean, they're not going to publicize anything else that comes from that letter stuff unless the FBI wants them to. They're very strategic in what they do and don't do. And if they're coming from in-house at TMZ, man, they're pretty smart too. Because that guy on Brian Enton's show, say it without saying it, you're a little surprised they hadn't found him yet either. Though you tried to word salad your way out of it, you're a little surprised they hadn't found him either. But you wanted to make sure you reminded us of how hard it can be. Especially the more informed the person is trying to hide their ID, right? Not the dumb guy at the door. He could never pull that off. But could a stalker who faked a kidnapping to throw the trail off? I don't know. That's a little much, even for my brain. Are we talking about a genius person here or what? Who thought of everything? Ew, that could be that intense, but I don't want it to be. Oh, do this. Yeah, it's the sheriff's not sitting there typing those up any. Oh my goodness, no. That's the PR people. That's a little girl at the desk. That ain't, shit, fucking Chat GTP could have made that up for him. It's just they come out with that craziness in different stages of attire. You mean they dropped, where'd they put their backpack and gun? There's also the chance that they got the victim secured in the car with the driver. The backpack is now sitting in the car, and maybe the pew pew is in the hands of the driver. And you went back to get the camera, and you looked back at the person at the car. I'm just getting these vines. Maybe it'll work. Should we reevaluate the bill again? I'm getting kind of hungry. Maybe I've evaluated it too much. While people are seeing lights and shadows in cars, I'm watching behavior, because my behavior analytics are far better than those behavioral panel people's. I'm like, what are y'all talking about? It's the way the person moves as they're looking and doing, not their leg don't bend or they've done this, they blinked their eye 3 times. That means something. What? What? It's weird. Oh, the dude looked straight back at something and almost acknowledged, I'm just getting some vines. So, Joe Jack Leone, bless his heart, he is so upset about, and I don't blame him. I like to look at his stuff. That crime scene, man, you should have held it. So Nancy Liu, I became familiar with her early in the Idaho 4 case. So there's photos of the company who came out today, and they pretty much went around Nancy's perimeter and put up no trespassing signs. That's probably at the family's request. Honestly, that's not going to be at the request of the law enforcement. Law enforcement wouldn't put no trespassing up. They'd put up crime scene tape. So before it breaks the internet, that was probably at the request of the family, and I can't say that I wouldn't have done the same, right? I can't say I wouldn't have done the same at this point. That's my mom's private property. Just because somebody took her don't mean you got the right to do whatever you want to out there now. Some of that does fall back on the family. There's nobody there to make sure. Could you imagine Savannah going to stay at her mom's house with all that media camped out front to capture every tear she shed? I wouldn't do it, but I wouldn't want you stepping all over my mom's property. The memorial with the flowers, that is so sweet, and thank you. And I understand the need for the media presence, but Y'all don't need to be traipsing through the property no more. Nobody. I don't want to see somebody out there with a metal rod poking around for my mama's shallow grave when I know she's not out there. See, that's how an empath actually works. Who? Rachel, what are you talking about? Oh, yeah. No, well, Joe's a cop. He gets the. It's not that it just hurts him, like, emotionally. He's a cop and he understands the ramifications of letting that crime scene go. And it absolutely pisses him off. He does. He gets fired up, and that, rightfully so. Thank God for the ones who know that are speaking up about things like that. So, you know what I mean? Of course, he's going to feel bad for victims and all of those things, but cops have to learn to compartmentalize, and they try. Good ones separate that stuff. But yeah, he knows the ramifications of letting that scene go so early and the field day a defense attorney could have with it. Yeah, Joe's great. There's a new body bags episode that I haven't reviewed yet. I'm gonna check that out in a little while I'm chilling. I'm gonna try to chill. I'm gonna try to chill and not think about my theory too much. Actually, I got some more things to work through, so I got a list. Helps me sort it out in my brain. If I can just write it out, talk it out, move through it. So if they can't get anywhere with this DNA, guys, and they got no solid leads on the guy at the front door because nobody can point the finger in the right direction because they've tried twice and failed. Um, the 40 names that they got from the holster sales allegedly have turned up nothing. The Walmart purchasing of the clothes apparently has also turned up nothing. Unless they got a name that we don't know about yet, and they're trying to get better at making sure we got probable cause before we go all guns a blazing again. It's one of them, right? We got nothing, or we got something, or we got semi something. What do y'all think? Y'all think they got something, nothing, or semi something? Might have a little bit. What little bit could you have other than the guy at the door and some ransom notes? What else do you got? Let's be logical. What else do you got besides a guy at the door and some ransom notes? That's it. No car, no DNA, no nothing. Nothing. It's all gone. So weird. Okay, Simi, I'm not familiar with that channel. I'll have to check it out. Only listen to a few these days. I don't know. When I found that one the other day just floored me. I don't even know where it come from. It's on my feed. It's about that Flynn case, and I'd listen to it, and I'm like, what in the world? Where'd they get this information? And that's also happened in the Tiffany Daniels case and the Danielle Bell case. When I began to research, see just how much is on the streets about those two cases, and I found some podcasts here and there, and I listened to them because I know the story. And I'm like, damn, they got all that wrong. Damn, where'd they get that from? And I'm having to call the people and say, what is that? We don't know what that is, right? So I know how, take it all with a grain of salt, but I'll check them out. Simi, since you said they're highly recommended. Murder Minds. Is he any kind of ex anything, or just like us with a good brain? Us with a good brain. I don't want to see somebody point out the obvious to me, right? Like point the stuff I haven't thought about out. Oh, what is this? What? What is this before I do that? Oh, Lord. Hold on. I don't bite without asking questions. Oh, okay. Mm-mm-mm. When there's no good theories to discuss, the weird ones seem to run amok, and people seem to be like all in on those kinds of theories, which is a whole other story. So they're still doubling down on this story about the Guthrie family wanting to hang on. Okay, NBC News is reporting the Guthries. Here we go with the NBC again. Now everybody's regurgitating the NBC story. Like everybody will do it now. NBC is reporting the Guthries wanted to offer a cash reward. Jesus Christ, can we just? She got to come out and make another video to address that. Yes, I listened to the dumb sheriff and risked my mama's life. Fuck. NBC's reporting is always particularly interesting to me, given. Oh, who is this? Mac Colson on Twitter who just said that? Hmm. At Mac Colson TV, I don't know who this account is, says NBC News is reporting the Guthries wanted to offer a cash reward since the beginning of the investigation, but they were advised not to. NBC's reporting is always particularly interesting to me given its Savannah's network. It's to me too, but probably for very different circumstances. Because I've been evaluating some stuff. Again, that's how my brain works. Interesting you say that. That's wild. Let me share the screen. Sorry, I forgot that I wasn't. I feel like I'm just chilling, talking to myself. All right. Because if I wasn't live with you guys, I probably would be sitting here doing just this, talking to myself. Okay. Because I'm like the only one here. So Mac Colson is where I got this tweet from. Colson TV, yada, 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 yada. And then their headline for NBC News is the Guthrie family was prepared to offer a cash reward from the beginning. So when did the FBI have a discussion with the family about a reward that was established? Are we just stirring the pot, muddying up the waters? They were advised that doing so might overwhelm the infrastructure set up to field leads. Oh, y'all thought that if y'all put out $1 million reward right out the fucking gate, that boom, we're going to get 1 million calls instantly and overwhelm the system. Yeah, you probably would have. You probably would have. The family decided to offer the reward after careful consultation and coordination with law enforcement. You mean the FBI? They're like, ma'am, a better idea is for us to do a reward. That way the tip can come in, we can orchestrate and do the thing. But if we just go out there, balls to the walls, offering a large cash sum, every idiot in the country is going to be calling in a tip. You know, like those TMZ letter writing people. Wow. I think I need some coffee and a rest. And that odd, coffee and a rest at the same time, but that, again, I'm weird. I'm so fucking weird. Okay, thank you, Simi. Thank you for that, because you know me, I'll be like, I got so much I'm trying to keep up with. I'm like, I don't forgot to go. But if you sent it to me, that's even better. Less work for me. Didn't the sheriff say? Sheriff said the FBI was handling anything to do with a ransom, which is common knowledge in law enforcement, right? The second ransom enters the picture, that is the FBI's gig, and it's been that way for decades. But that's what he was talking about. The FBI handled the financial part, did the fucking ransom money. But the FBI established the reward like they do in a lot of the cases they work, right? We've been all over that FBI website so many times, all the missing kids in Tennessee on the TBI website, also on the FBI website. Every time there's a Crystal Rogers and her father, Tommy, to this day, Mr. Tommy's still on the FBI website. It's a very good website, guys, and they'll put out updated information on a lot of cases. And they probably, I haven't checked in days about the Guthrie case, but a place I check a lot for a lot of things. Yeah, I don't even want to have a discussion anymore about dumb word salad guy. I don't even expect anything out of him. But I expect NBC to sit all the way down for a minute because it's obvious what's happening. It should be. They are being the spokesperson for a lot of the sheriff. It's a complicated matter. It's complicated. Sheriff's trying to do good and do right by this family because he don't need any ramifications coming from this family. Let me run out here in defense of this family. You think he fucking cares? I love Savannah. No, you don't. You love your reputation. So you need to come out here and support this family and get the public to back off so they'll like you, so that the family will like you. See, it's a very complicated matter. People are motivated for very different reasons. It's weirdo. I can't with him. I got DNA in the case. We're gonna get this DNA solved. It's gonna be my lab. Fuck the FBI lab. Y'all don't know what you're talking about. We don't have enough DNA. We got mixtures, and it's over my head. That's what we're getting out of that guy. And I checked him off my list a long time ago. I ain't even got the energy hardly to make fun of him unless I'm bored. You done come out and made a mockery of the case, and now we got a bunch of sources who are about to do the same thing, if they haven't already. And eventually, from my experience, the crowd will turn on you, sources. Wait for it. It's that easy to lose them sometimes, especially when they expect more, right? Crazy. I don't know. I hope they get somewhere. I hope they're making progress. We've heard a couple of sources say that some of the teams are pulling out. That say, like, some of the elite tactical rescue type teams for high profile kidnappings, those kind of people. We might be scaling back on some of the things that are going on in the case as far as resources being depleted, but they're not going away. But you can bet it's going to start trickling away. And for all the people on there wanting to point out how many missing are out there, I will say this. I've seen more support out of social media, true crimers on YouTube for the missing than I've seen on any other platform. Yes, they get shared all over Facebook, but that cesspool also allows people to email the family of the missing and claim they got information on the missing in exchange for money. And I know that for a fucking fact. And it's sad. So shout out to all of you social media quote unquote creators who do support the missing, because we do it as much as we can. We've done it here, we've done it there, we've went and supported other channels who are doing the same thing. Butterfly and I we made a lot of friends in the missing community at one point, and Can't say anything bad about those people and their efforts. So just shout out to the ones who do go hard for the missing, because to keep that story alive and to keep it out there is extremely hard. And Bonnie Bell, the big sister of Danielle Bell, is doing a fantastic job, but it's draining. I try to support her any way I can. Missing Danielle Bell on Facebook, Missing Child Danielle Bell on Facebook. And I believe Bonnie has her Twitter account, or her TikTok account is huge now, because people have finally latched onto the case outside of our little bubble here in our hometown. So hats off to all those fighting for the missing, because there's just not enough of it. And when y'all see a missing flyer come across your feed, share it. Share it. You may have friends who live in different states, family, cousins, best friends from childhood. If you share it, you ain't even got to say anything. Please share. And everybody just please share, please share. What if you run across that little child in the grocery store and you're like, damn, that's that kid I saw on Facebook. It could happen that quickly. So just stay vigilant. And don't none of y'all go missing. We'd miss y'all. Yeah, Bonnie's an amazing advocate. Um, it just shows the strength of some of these families. The families that I know here that have had these girls missing for literally decades are the strongest people I know, because I don't know how they've done it, right? I just don't. Losing your child is one thing. Like if they pass away, you know where your child is, you know where they went. But if you don't have that, you don't know ever. And that is not something I don't know that I could sit with forever. It'd be hard as hell. So let's pray. Whatever y'all do, send your good vibes, go to your higher spiritual self, send it out there, and wrap that family in love. But most importantly, Miss Nancy, she's a lady. She's not a character in a movie. She's not just the mother of famous Savannah. She's far more than that. And I hope they find her sooner than later, because it's not looking good. And I can't figure out how the guy at the door has outsmarted everybody at this point. Like Brian Koberger did, except for the sheath, but that's what got him caught. That good sample off that damn sheath. We don't have that here, apparently. So he did a better job than Koberger. Damn, let that sink in. Fuck, do we got a criminology major on our hands, guys? Whoa, wait a minute. Lord help us. Did Stalker Girl know a criminology major? Ew. That might have known a guy that know. Oh, see, my brain will start going when I see. Oh God, Simmy, stop me. You're feral and you don't listen. Me neither. Like y'all hear me rambling today. Y'all are like, damn girl. I'm just bored, and I'm seriously, I'm bored, and I'm not tired or anything, and I'm just like, this whole thing. But y'all have seen what's out there today. We'll have to see what comes around tonight. Um, does it sound better and better, Simi? They sound fine until they don't make sense to me. When I insert that one thing that makes it go, huh? I'm like, yeah, you're right, huh? That takes it off the table, right? And I haven't found that yet in my two running theories, because I don't want the tunnel vision. I do not want that tunnel vision. I try so hard not to get it, you know? Don't come at me with I got some tunnel vision, because I can see both sides and I'm about to show you. I try not to get it. I don't I don't know. I don't know, guys. So I'm gonna let you guys go though. I'm gonna go find something to eat. I think tomorrow or maybe this evening, if I'm bored again, I might come back and we'll like review that Nick Reiner, very uneventful, or not guilty. Oh, sorry, not guilty plea, not guilty. I think he's due back in court in April, but they also expect to need to extend that. Prosecution claims they've given the defense everything, and I'm like, okay, that's pretty cut and dry as far as we can tell, right? I don't know what the defense. I doubt their stuff's going to be cut and dry. Um, I'm gauging that defense attorney, and I wondered, did she? Is she okay? She's from the L.A. prosecutor's office. Alan Jackson knows all them people. Y'all ain't had a drink together and discussed anything on the side, have you? You can't tell me. I understand, but I got questions. I'm interested to see how that defense plays out in the Reiner case. Simi, I don't have like, you know what? I don't have no troll accounts. I like just got my. I don't even know why people would do that. I just have my account. So if I pop off and say something, they gonna know it's absolutely me doing it, right? And I've been known to say something when I hear something ridiculous. Like I'm not scared to hide it's me saying it. That's so funny. I'm not saying you do that. I know what you meant. I've seen you around. I know what you do. When you use the word troll and saying things, it just crack me up because you know people do it. They break out that fake account and go have some fun. They've tried that here so many times and failed every time. Please do better. Please do better. All right, y'all know we got a whole running playlist on all the things that have happened in this case from day 2 basically until now. We are at day 24, if I'm not mistaken. Um, Also, by the way, maybe not. I'll just say this: 250 is not a United States area code, Harvey. You guys be safe on those YouTube streets.
Thank you all for watching this here video. Please like and subscribe and follow. Much love from little Yas to each of you.